Did you know that there's a new threat that can actually allow a hacker to spoof a Microsoft email address, including email addresses from Microsoft employees? I'm Brian Longworth, host of a Faster PC Live technical support, and coming up next, I'll discuss this threat and also show you how you can take steps to protect yourself, your computer, your data, even your business. If you have a business and your network, we want to show you how you can protect yourself from this threat. If you haven't done so yet, please take a moment to click the like button, click subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when we release new videos. Two things that are out there. One is a security alert. There is a major flaw that is currently unpatched, and this relates to Microsoft email, or email from that says it's coming from Microsoft. And of course, many people out there have Microsoft accounts. If you're using a Windows-based computer, the first thing you do when you turn your computer on, Microsoft asks you to create a Microsoft account if you don't already have one, or to log in with a Microsoft account if you do have one. Some people create a new password, a new account, because they don't know their old account information. But many people have a Microsoft account, and Microsoft on the business side has Microsoft 365 accounts where they actually host email accounts. So getting an email that says it's from Microsoft would make you tend to believe that that's actually a legitimate email, and it could look like it's actually you would be more inclined to trust it. Well, there is a threat out there we want to warn you about, so that you don't actually that you're not taken advantage of here. So there is a significant vulnerability that allows attackers to spoof email. So what that means is that you get an email that says it's from Microsoft, but it's really not from Microsoft. Really, it's from someone else pretending to be Microsoft. So they're actually using a Microsoft email address, and they're saying that they're sending this from Microsoft to you. So they're spoofing the email. And this is, really they can actually do this with a Microsoft employee even. So it looks like it's coming from a legitimate party. And so what they can do is they can actually launch a phishing attack. Phishing, and we're not talking about fishing with a cane pole, or going out deep sea fishing or anything like that. We're not talking about fishing for fish. We're talking about fishing for your information, for your username, for your password, for your MFA code. And if they can pretend to be Microsoft and launch direct you to a website, it might even be a website that's on one of the Microsoft domains. As we have shown you, some of the threats and some of the attacks are actually being launched from Microsoft domains, because Microsoft does have cloud hosting. And that cloud hosting has an official Microsoft address that's designed to be just a temporary address until the person gets their own domain forwarded over to there. But some hackers are using these websites as a launching platform for their schemes. And of course, if you received an email that says it comes from Microsoft, and the links all point to an actual Microsoft domain, it might actually look like it's legitimate. But again, this can be used to actually trick you into typing your username and your password, and then authenticating with your MFA. That's multi-factor authentication. Once you do that, the bad guys then have access to your account, and this can be called they can use what's called a man-in-the-middle attack, where they're actually tricking you into going to their website, typing your username and your password into their site. They're then forwarding that information to a legitimate Microsoft site, and they're also forwarding your MFA code to a legitimate Microsoft site. So they then actually have access to your Microsoft account. And just think, especially if you're a business, maybe you're a medical practice, maybe you normally send out invoices to your customers. Well, imagine your customers getting an invoice from you that's not an invoice from you. That's actually an invoice that's directing them to pay money to someone that will go to the hackers. We've heard this has happened, and we've had some customers that we've heard from that have had situations like this where someone got a hold of a hacker got a hold of one of their accounts and sent out actually emails that actually infected their customers, or in some cases sent out emails that said, hey, you owe us $10,000. Here's the link to pay us. And the person knows, hey, maybe they did really owe them $10,000. They click the link, they go to pay it, but the company doesn't receive the money. The hackers receive the money. So this is a very critical threat here. So this bug, it can deceive recipients into believing that they're receiving legitimate communication from Microsoft, and it affects all Outlook accounts. So there is a cybersecurity researcher that goes by the alias Sloaner. He has actually discovered this. He actually has claims that he can impersonate any of the 400 million Outlook accounts, including Microsoft employee email addresses. And he hasn't released the technical details of this. He has to Microsoft. Microsoft has yet to come out with a patch on this. We are encouraging organizations to use email filtering, spam filtering, and phishing filtering email. We can actually help you with this if you're not sure how to do this. Also, making sure that emails that you receive have proper DMARC, DKIM, and SPF. So those are terms, those are DNS terms. So DNS stands for Domain Name System. And what domain name system or DNS servers do is they actually direct traffic. Like, for instance, when you go to Microsoft.com, you're going actually to a computer that is on the internet. It's an IP address. And the DNS server, you don't have to remember the IP address. You just type in Microsoft.com, and the DNS server knows where to send that traffic to. Well, similarly, there's DMARC, DKIM, and SPF. These are DNS entries that tell email recipients that the email is valid. And Microsoft and some other email providers, Google and Yahoo, they recently came up with some changes to DMARC and DKIM and SPF. And if you're out there and you're a business, you're sending email, you need to make sure that, first of all, your DMARC, your DKIM, your SPF is updated correctly, and those terms may not mean anything to you, but you need to have this done. And if you don't understand how to do it, contact someone and someone that knows how to do it, have them help you with this. We can help you with this, and you can give us a call, 772-878-5978. But you also need to have software that's actually checking to make sure the emails you're receiving have the proper DMARC and DKIM and SPF. And and the software needs to be able to understand this, because most likely you don't. Many of our listeners aren't going to understand how this all works, but there's software out there that does understand how it works, that can help protect you from spam, from viruses, from malware, from phishing attempts. So Microsoft is looking at this, but they haven't released a patch yet. Until they do, one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to treat any email that says it's coming from Microsoft as suspicious. As we talked about the zero trust, you're going to not trust those emails to begin with. You're going to verify. If it says you owe money, if it says you need to log in, don't use the links in that email. Go to their website itself, Microsoft.com, account.microsoft.com. If you're logging into a personal account, if you're logging into a business account, you can go to, or a personal account, you can go to Office.com or Outlook.com, and you can go to admin.microsoft.com if your account has an admin is an admin on Microsoft. So go there, check it out, make sure. Don't just take someone's word for it. Make sure that this actually is legitimate, and don't follow the links. Be suspicious of any email that you actually receive, so that you can actually help protect yourself from this. Now, one thing also, last week we talked about Windows updates, and many of the Windows updates, a lot of them are related to security and making sure, patching security holes. We talked about 51 different patches that were 51 different flaws that were patched by the security updates that were released last month. Now, by the way, if you don't know about this and you haven't installed those or want to know more about that, we did release a video on this last week, or this week. We actually released a video. You can go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page. In the video comment, we'll actually link on YouTube. We'll actually link to our previous video on that, so you can actually go and watch that. Make sure that you got all of those updates. I hope you've liked this video, that you've learned something from it. If you have, please click the like button, click subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when we release new videos. And remember, when you have cybersecurity problems, you need a faster PC.